Bad Larry.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bad Larry Kingdom. I'm your host, Bad Larry. Today, let's check out Daredevil, issue number 3. My favorite cover is this variant in the middle. The movement and the character proportions are right on point. The main cover, however, only gets a 66%. This is Daredevil's book, so why do I keep looking at Spider-Man on this cover? Daredevil feels like the sidekick. Also, what is Spider-Man even doing? He's not looking or engaging with the other characters. He's just plonked in the foreground to catch your attention. It feels forced. The black and red scheme is right on brand for Daredevil, but on the shelf, this cover gets lost in the sauce. And the 3 variant covers are much better than this, in my opinion. This issue of Daredevil, titled Beware the Omen, is brought to you by Stephanie Phillips and Lee Garbett, with Frank Martin on the colors. Matt Murdock is having a bit of a panic attack. He's lost his focus. The powerful senses are overloading him, and old Spider Man is coaching him out of the danger zone. Spider Man coaching Daredevil, urging him to focus. This is an excellent use for Spider Man. We forget sometimes that Spider Man also has these enhanced senses. Maybe not the same as Daredevil, but Spider Man must also hyper focus so as not to crush things and reveal his sticky finger powers, for example, when he's Peter Parker. What I don't understand is why the Omen, this new villain, has put Matt Murdock in such a bad way. I thought Daredevil was the man without fear. You don't get into this type of panic attack without a heavy dose of fear and anxiety. Matt finally pulls himself together. I guess in this run, Spider Man knows Matt Murdock is Daredevil. I really enjoy their connection so far in these last 2 issues. Matt tells Spider Man the Omen freaks him out because he's after Matt Murdock, not Daredevil, and that makes him worried about the civilians in Matt's life. On a side note, while I appreciate the excellent art so far by Lee Garbett, this frame of Matt putting on his shirt, I don't know, man, it's kind of sus. Daredevil makes a pun about fighting the Omen virtually blind, as the Omen totally negates Daredevil's super senses. This pun is well received by Mr. Pun himself, Spider Man. I made this comment in my last Daredevil video. I feel it is ridiculous Matt is wrapping his wrists up like this every time he suits up. It seems slow and cumbersome. I do like the way Lee Garbett and the colorist Frank Martin work together to create 2 totally different feels to the Daredevil suit and the Spider Man suit. The Spider Man suit looks tighter, brighter, red, it's silkier, it's very thin fabric, where Daredevil's suit has a thicker seams. The material seems more padded for more protection that Spider Man just doesn't need. It's very hard to try to create these 2 different fabric looks in 2D art. Anyway, Spider Man's trying to train Daredevil to refocus his powers by turning them all off but one. You all know I love an epic splash page. Of all these books I'm covering currently, this Daredevil run may not be my favorite overall, but I must admit the art is the best. Lee's version of Spider Man and Daredevil are absolutely stunning. This could be a poster for sure. Spider Man is playing Catch Me If You Can with Daredevil. This little training session is made for the story, but it's super fun visually. The way Spider Man is drawn, thin, agile, it's just perfect. He isn't supposed to be a muscle bound freak. His athletic build is what makes him relatable and so fun to see against his typically much bigger enemies. His smaller stature makes his agility and elusiveness so frustrating to his enemies, and I think one of the biggest parts of Spider Man's charm. Similarly, Daredevil is also depicted very well. He's clearly bigger than Spider Man, slightly bulkier, but not big like Captain America or even Punisher. He looks like a super athletic guy as well. Slower than Spider Man, but faster than other non powered characters such as the Punisher. Here, Spider Man and Daredevil accidentally name the new character the Omen. Well, Spider Man does. But I think even though Matt Murdock's a smart lawyer type of guy, Peter Parker's much smarter and much quicker mentally. Speaking of the Omen, we head to Hell's Kitchen where some poor, pathetic soul thinks he can run. Why are you running? Oh boy, please for his life, don't kill the man. The Omen delivers what looks like a killer blow, saying it's a mercy killing. This dude is cray cray. Well, it's kind of late to try to start fighting now. You should have fought earlier before running and getting gassed out. Old mate reaches up, showing the Omen's face. Ugly, like Deadpool or something. Looks like the Omen just snapped the old boy's neck with just the one hand. That's tough. An offering and surrender usually indicates a voluntary action. This dude did not offer up any of his flesh or surrender voluntarily. Nah, that was taken for sure. This Omen character is taking eyes and raising up his sickle weapon up to the heavens like he's doing the Lord's work or something. Killing people for sinning? That's not the way, my guy. These cops are just baffled by this serial killer, the Omen, so far. And they're focusing on Matt Murdock as either a lead or a lead suspect, as they saw his picture on that boat from last issue. As a lawyer, Matt should know not to talk to the cops, but he is also a lawyer superhero, so he has to have a pretty solid biggie ego. Let's see what these cops can get out of our boy Matt. Look, don't come to my office and talk trash about my decor or lack thereof. These cops always act like their time is more valuable than anyone else's. Just get to the damn point, man. Ask your questions and then F off. But no, they like to snoop around like they're little kids in the pantry in the middle of the night getting their fingers all sticky. Finally, Detective Dominic here asks a point blank question. Matt stands firm, his arms crossed in a clear defensive but also confrontational pose. The face off between the detective and Matt is portrayed very well. The cops can usually read people, their eye movement, to see if they're lying, but not with Matt wearing his glasses. He's like a stone wall. But on the other hand, Matt can read the detective like a book. Well, a book written in Braille. The detective wants to know if Matt has any enemies. Matt clearly can't tell them about the Omen. That's a problem for Daredevil to solve. But here I never knew that Matt was the mayor of New York. But to be fair, this is my first Daredevil run that I've picked up for a long time. The cops kind of spilled beans to Matt about his picture being up on the ship and wants to bring him in for more questioning. And here is when Matt's law knowledge is used to politely, but in no other terms, tell these cops to hit the bricks, go grab some donuts, and F off. Dr. Ellison is coming to Matt's aid. I didn't think he needed any. This feels like a way to insert this character who is introduced in issue number 1 so the reader doesn't forget she exists. Her participation in this conversation and in this issue is quite unneeded. This character, Dr. Sari Ellison, was created for this series by both Stephanie Phillips and Lee Garbett. But let's be real. The writer self inserted herself into this run, created this character, and the artist Lee Garbett just finalized the look. But this is all on Stephanie Phillips. I don't know why these creative types do this, but it's not new. The man who started it all, Stan Lee, did it. He's self inserted as J. Jonah Jameson in Spider Man. I guess they all do it, all these writers and artists. New York being the home to most superheroes is so fun. The crossover opportunities are so great. I love seeing the Daily Bugle in both Spider Man and Daredevil. It makes the world feel rich and full. We focus on Ben Urich, editor in chief and journalist, who has a myriad of different looks over the years, I might add, and seeing something startling enough for him to drop his coffee? Well, take a look at that frame with Ben looking over his shoulder for a second. That frame is fantastic. It is very difficult to depict that sly smile with the lowered eyes. It's like the shit eating grin type of expression. And then Frank Martin did an excellent job coloring Ben's face. You can clearly see his 5 o'clock shadow, the darker tone to a man's face as they get older, the bearded area being so much darker than the other parts of the man's face, the highlights and lowlights on the nose and the hand, and even the sign on the door. All that effort to color this one image that you may spend 2 or 3 seconds looking at. That's it. Comics really deserve a higher stature in the culture of fine art, in my opinion. I don't know why Ben would drop his coffee seeing what seems to be like his good buddy Daredevil. Daredevil wants to put a simple ad out in the regular paper? This seems like this could have been a phone call or an email, not an in person folded arms, cloak and dagger secret spy request. It's a simple ad, it's no biggie. This is where Stephanie Phillips flounders a bit, making a simple request from Daredevil to Ben so dramatic and taking up a full page in an issue. It's fluff. And by issue number 3, it feels like her story is thin. It's like she's trying to make 3 pieces of jam toast with only one spoonful of jam. But Lee Garbett, the artist, is the real hero of this series. His artwork makes up a lot of Stephanie Phillips' blunders. He creates a magnificent tone, going from the soft feel of Ben Urich's office to this dark, foreboding feel of a rainy night at a scary warehouse in the docks. Daredevil is using the info Detective Dom let slip earlier to try and hunt down the Omen. The art showing Daredevil lurking up on the top rafter beam is so cool. We are being drawn into the action. Again, Lee's art making this book what it is. My question, why not partner this time with Spider Man? They're clearly pals. Spider Man helped them out earlier. Why not double team this Omen guy? No, did he? Especially when he got the best of Daredevil earlier. But fighters are full of themselves, man. They get knocked down, then they get up, still believing they can win the fight. Matt comes from a lineage of fighters who get knocked down and get back up. I guess asking Spider Man for help would make Daredevil feel too much like a pussy. Plus, where's the heroism in that? And Daredevil is supposed to not have any fear, so there's no backup. Daredevil does his fighting himself, as it should be. No team ups. Daredevil looks to go round 2 with the Omen in this creepy old warehouse. Will round 2 go to Daredevil, or will the Omen go 2-0? Even though I ripped on Stephanie Phillips a bit earlier, she does write good action. Even though the artist gets most of the credit, it's the writer to tell the artist what to draw. He or she creates the scene, the artist must make it come to life. These 4 frames must have read Daredevil uses his sonar to detect the foot movement, the clanging of the bones, the weapon scraping on the ground, the Omen's heartbeat, and then Lee has to make that happen using pen and ink. Then Daredevil makes the first move, attacking from the higher position. Well, every Star Wars fan knows the high ground is the optimal fighting position. But the Omen is too good, it seems, and gives our boy Daredevil a nice welcome to the warehouse with a sickle bob across the face. You don't see many characters use this type of weapon, but man, the Omen is pretty tough with it. The Omen fights a lot like Taskmaster or Moon Knight, unpredictable and wild. Daredevil, on the other hand, fights a lot like Justin Gaethje. He just gets walloped but never quits. It's the never quit that makes Daredevil so fun to read. But in this round, Daredevil must follow Spider-Man's training, turn off all his senses but one. But he's still catching stick to the face like he's at a Diddy party. Daredevil might want to invest in a full face covering like an actual helmet. It makes more sense with his fighting style. See? If he had a more robust helmet, That headbutt could have done more damage. The Omen tells Daredevil he's a vessel, like he's being possessed by a spirit who likes to take people's eyeballs out. Daredevil looks to be losing this round as well, but the Omen's mask is off. We finally get to see. Oh no! Ugh. Put that mask back on, nasty, freaky phantom of the opera looking boy. For Stephanie Phillips' part, I gave her a B minus. The new character, the Omen, is interesting, so I give her that. I stated in a previous episode, she writes Daredevil very well, but Matt Murdock, not so much. Lee Garbett and Frank Martin is why I keep coming back to this run. Their art is just my style. It's realistic, but not hyper realistic. The proportions, character styling, and coloring is the best of any series, in my opinion. Very visually appealing, which is why they get an A plus from me. The hype for issue number 4, though, is slightly better than mid. I'm interested in learning more about the Omen, his motivations and origin, so for that it gets a solid B. Let me know your thoughts on this Daredevil run so far. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you real soon. Peace.